Folks, welcome into another episode of Hot Topics. It's me and the big man on campus, Jeff Nadu. We are going to talk a little bit of NFL futures here, Jeff, as we know 3 weeks till the NFL draft. A lot to go over there, but we might be able to find some value here even before the draft and also as free agency continues to mirror down a path. If we take a look at some of these teams out of the top level teams, of course, we're going to look at Kansas City Chiefs, Baltimore Ravens, but there also are a plethora of teams in the NFC. I think you get some value here. Sometimes we see some of these teams, Jeff, 3-1 or 4-1. We're seeing the Kansas City Chiefs at plus 650 leading the way as a possible team to win the Super Bowl coming up this season, Jeff.
Yeah, I think the great thing about being a good team or a great team and a team that necessarily went deep in the playoffs or even won the Super Bowl is, as we know, Donnie, as Eagle fans, once you win the Super Bowl, you are going to get better because you're going to be able to just add places that you might have kind of a hole at or just maybe slightly improve. But the one issue you're going to have to wonder is, like the Eagles, the Chiefs aren't going to have the same large-scale coaching moves. So, like when the Eagles won, Reich and several others moved on, the Chiefs aren't going to have that problem. Eric Bieniemy's back, Steve Spagnuolo's back, obviously Andy Reid's back. They really haven't made any moves in the offseason. They haven't really improved their team or not. Obviously, I think for them, they're just going to kind of strengthen where they need, get some quality depth. But, Donnie, I think you know me by now. I'm one that looks a little bit deeper into the odds and tries to find teams that are a little bit kind of out of the on the beaten path. I will quickly discuss a favorite. I like the 49ers. I think this team right now, to me, would be the favorite going into next year, obviously outside of the Chiefs. You look at what they did last year and the ability of this team without, obviously they had some big holes in certain positions. You look at receiver, Donnie, would you characterize as anyone on that team as a number one high-level receiver? Because I sure wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think in this draft, you have a top 12, 13 pick. I think it's kind of imperative they go out and target the best receiver in the draft. I think that's one thing that could really elevate this team from a really good team to a great team. You got to be able to surround your quarterback with weapons. You look at all of a sudden, they have one of the best defenses in the NFL. They're going to come back like a freight train next year, and they're only going to add to an already really good offense. Donnie, I'm looking at, and I hate to be a homer here, but I'm looking at the Philadelphia Eagles at 16-1. I look at this team, and I really love the offseason moves. And Donnie, I am not an Eagle fan that has ever a lot of optimism. I'm always kind of someone that thinks of the worst because that's always how it's been. But you have to think at this point, Donnie, they're going to go out and get the best player as far as receiver in the draft. I know they haven't always been good at making the decisions, but it's really hard to fail this year. I think if they're able to add that receiver, you look at all of a sudden, this offense is going to be pretty damn good. They were a group last year that had so many injuries, so many holes, but you're going to get an offensive linebacker that's one of the best in the NFL. You have Carson Wentz, who, if he could stay healthy, as we know his talent. Miles Sanders developed into becoming a really high-level running back that can play at this level and succeed at this level. Defensively, you add Javon Hargrave on that offensive line. You get some much-needed depth there. And you finally get a corner, Donnie, Darius Slay. He's what we've been looking for years in this town. I like the Nickel Roby-Coleman addition as well. I think he could be a nice veteran to add with some of these youngsters. I like the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they can strengthen the draft and be right up there.
No, it's interesting that you bring up the Eagles there because, yes, you're also looking at counterpoints where you're saying if the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles are 1 and 2 in the division, depending on what you look at. I think we could say that the Dallas Cowboys took a little bit more hits in the offseason, especially free agency, than the Philadelphia Eagles had. And then you're taking a look at 2 regime changes with the New York Giants and the Washington Redskins because keep in mind, obviously you want these prices to come in, but it's nice to win your division and maybe get a first-round bye or an extra advantage there when you're looking at listing in the playoffs where if you're the 1 or 2 seed, it's better than being obviously the 3, 4, 5, or 6 seed, even with the extended playoffs that we might get an extra team. Here's what I like about this, Jeff, because, odds makers are no dummies. And I'm taking a look at FanDuel right now. The Eagles are sitting at 19-1, Seattle plus 2,000, Green Bay Packers 22-1, Minnesota Vikings 22-1. How about this, Jeff? You had the 49ers at 9-1, the New Orleans Saints at 13-1. The third overall team in the NFC, Jeff, to win the Super Bowl based on bookmakers here at FanDuel, Tampa Bay at 17-1.
Yeah,
it's the whole Brady effect going down there, and they know they're being small. Oh man, Brady, they're going to win it now. I find that amazing where you would have that team listed that high, especially in the NFC here.
Yeah, I mean, they're really beating you up with odds there. I mean, you're not getting. I mean, you're getting horrific value. You're not getting value. Donnie, the word value is overused by gamblers.
True.
It's a lazy reference. It's something that you can say to sound interesting and exciting. Oh, they have value. They don't have value. That's a ridiculous price, Donnie. Ridiculous. I mean, does anyone not have the same issues that I have with Tampa? I mean, we do realize, Donnie, that Tom Brady has not been on a different team since 2000.
No offseason.
Keep in mind, Donnie, in 2000, cell phones were not really a thing, and if they were huge. Limp Bizkit was probably the biggest band in the country, and Y2K didn't kill us all.
Yeah.
It's amazing, Donnie, at this team, at how people just assume that Tom Brady's what he was. He's not the quarterback he was in 2011. Give me a break. He had his lowest completion percentage in years. He had his lowest touchdowns thrown per game and in general last year. You look at this defense for Tampa, they stink. There's a lot of question marks in this group. And I got to tell you, I don't think they're going to get it rectified with the NFL draft. They're still going to be young on defense. Look, they're going to score points, but I think they're going to have the same problems as usual. They're not going to be able to stop anyone. They have a tough schedule next year. I actually wrote an article recently about this, and I thought under 9, and we've talked about that on this show as well. I thought that was pretty valuable here. To be higher odds than teams like the Packers or the Vikings or the Eagles or Seattle, nonsense.
No, it's complete nonsense to take a look at, because also when you take a look at Tampa Bay, I mean, Tom Brady for 20 years never had an equal on the opposite side. So you can enter, hey, we're the best team in that. I mean, you still got the New Orleans Saints that are sitting at the top dog in that division. You also got a couple new coaches swinging in there. If we take a look at the AFC, Jeff, because obviously you're looking at two powerhouses over there, and we got robbed a little bit last year because I think we both wanted to see Kansas City go up against the Baltimore Ravens with the right to go to the Super Bowl. Both of those teams are lined up, as we said already. The Chiefs still sitting at the favorite at plus 650. We know Patrick Mahomes is good enough to carry any team anywhere. It's almost like it doesn't even matter if he has a defense along with him. But those Baltimore Ravens, Jeff, up front, doing what they do, fortifying that defense again and coming back strong. 7-1 ticket here to win the championship. I like the Ravens, but again, you're betting against Patrick Mahomes. That's always a tough thing to do.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously you have another year for Lamar Jackson to kind of, obviously you always want chip on the shoulder, Donnie. That can always be a great equalizer for a lot of teams, having that chip on their shoulder. And look, they came up short. They just didn't play well against Tennessee. It's pretty simple. Yep. You look at Derek Wolfe, the acquisition of him. I think that's really going to kind of neutralize a defensive line that's obviously seen some turnover.
Yep.
Yeah, they saw some turnover the last couple of years. Adding those two guys, I think, is really going to help. The secondary strong. I mean, you add Marcus Peters, that really helped. Earl Thomas still has plenty left. And forget, Donnie, they had some injuries last year as well. Jimmy Smith was injured for large parts of the season. So I think they're going to come back strong. And, again, Donnie, when you're a good football team, the draft is a great thing because you can add depth where maybe you didn't necessarily have it. I still think adding another receiver could help them. You just have that, the multitude of talent there on the outside. You add, Marquise Brown last year. You have Miles Boykin. You have, some of their young tight ends. You add another burner in there. They could be a real dangerous offense. I like where they're headed. I agree with you as well. I'm taking them and the Niners over the Chiefs. It's just so hard to repeat. We know the Chiefs would be good, but I mean, Donnie, we have to remember, I mean, are they going to come back in certain games like they did last year? Remember the Chiefs? I mean, how many games were they down last year in the playoffs? If the Super Bowl goes one or two ways and bounces differently, who knows what happens? So, I'm always going to fade that, and I'm willing to think that it will change next year. So, I'm going to definitely tell you right now, I think next year the Super Bowl matchup, Baltimore, San Francisco, watch out for the Eagles.
Would be really nice to watch. And, of course, we still have to wait on to see when these schedules come out, because obviously we know here in Philadelphia, 3 straight years, we've been the Thursday night road team. If you can get those going in your favors, a couple extra wins will give you that extra spot in the playoff seeding here. So we'll keep an eye on these futures and much more. Hey, as we say it each and every time we come on the air, not much going on the field. We're going to try to keep you guys inundated with topics out there to have some fun with, to go over NFL futures. Be sure to catch everything we do here at pubsportsradio.com. And, Jeff, I know you're doing a lot of good blogs and a lot of good stuff here with Pub Sports Radio.
Yeah, trying to do stuff, trying to keep busy, Donnie. Not a ton to do right now, but you're just writing stuff where I can. The NFL draft's coming up. I'm spending a ton of time on that right now, really kind of trying to, give you a perfect draft. There's plenty of props this year. There's going to be an inundation of those with all the stuff going on and very little to bet on. So yeah, just doing the horse racing and the horse or in the NFL draft and preparing for the future.
A lot more right here at pubsportsradio.com's hot topic of the day. You know we're going to be talking a lot about the draft. We are 3 weeks away. We'll keep you updated on that. For Jeff, I'm Donnie. Have a good day, and we'll be back tomorrow with another pubsportsradio.com hot topic.